Hey everyone, it's low carb and keto nutrition specialist Amy Berger bringing you, as always, keto without the crazy. This is part 2 of a video on weight regain on keto. So do me a favor and promise me, if you haven't already seen part 1, click on the link below in the notes to part 1 of this video and go watch that first and then come back and watch this. Because those of you that saw part 1 and any of you who happen to have been longtime fans or followers of my channel know that I made notes for last time and I still neglected to say a lot of things that I think are very important. So after I finished recording that and wrapped it all up in a nice bow, I thought, oh, Amy, oh my goodness, there's all these really important, critical things that you want to tell people that you didn't include. I guess you're going to have to do a part 2. So here we are. Before I get to that, though, just a reminder that the next virtual meeting, online meeting of the Keto Support Group with myself and my dear friend Casey Durango from Go Keto with Casey is happening on Tuesday, August 13th at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Tuesday, August 13th at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. There's a link in the notes below if you'd like to register for that. We are a zero judgment zone. We welcome all comers, whether you are brand new to low carb keto or you've been doing it for years and years and you're either a wild success and you would just want to have a fun place to tell people how amazing your results have been, or you've been doing it for years and it's not going quite so well and you need some advice and you need some troubleshooting help, or you need some encouragement, or that, little virtual nudge in the rear. The more the merrier. We welcome everybody. Link in the notes. Okay, part 2 of weight regain on keto. The reason that I feel compelled to do a part 2 to this is because in part 1, I talked a lot more about the mindset shift. And I did give a couple of actionable steps toward the end, but I really feel like I'd like to give you some more actionable tips and things to think about to get you back on the path and get this weight regain unregained, to start letting go of weight that you may have regained after having lost some on a low carb or ketogenic diet. So, she has notes for this one too, everybody. Yikes. I actually printed out some stuff. I'm going to share with you little bits and pieces of something that I had posted on this topic in a private membership that I'm part of, that I help to admin. So never say that I don't love you. I'm sharing, like privileged information with you here. So let's just quick recap of what was in part 1 was immediately forgiving yourself wherever I am right now, whatever I did or didn't do that has caused me to regain some substantial amount of weight on a low carb or keto diet. Here I am. Clean slate, no shame, no self-blame, no self-loathing. This is where I am. And accepting the reality of this is where I am was another thing that I had offered last time. This is where I'm at. What now? We can't fight this reality. The more we resist, the more we resent that this is where we are, and the more that we fight the reality of our current weight or size or shape, that's just not going to get us anywhere. This is where we are. What now? So, the what now, sorry, let me look. My notes are teeny tiny scribbles. So, I think actionable stuff, you want to ask yourself, at one point you were losing really well, or you had lost and you were maintaining, right? I did a video not long ago on maintaining a weight loss or maintaining health improvements on keto. But if you're dealing with the regain, at some point the weight started to come back on. So ask yourself, do some introspection and determine, is there anything that I stopped doing that I should start doing again? Is there something that I was doing while I was successful with losing weight that I stopped doing and I started to regain weight? And maybe if I started doing that thing again or those things again, this regain would maybe kind of start coming back off. For example, maybe when you were successful the first time around with losing the weight, you were packing your lunch and bringing it to work with you. You know, if you work outside your home. These are just general examples, right? You determine whatever is applicable to your life and your situation. Maybe you were taking just a little bit of time each week to batch cook or meal prep. I did a video a long time ago on food prep tips to make keto easier. I think everyone should have to watch that, frankly. Like, it's a game changer. And it just takes a really short amount of time, if you do it the right way, to cook a massive amount of food, to have a number of different options, a lot of variety available to you for the next several days. It's such a game changer to have something ready that you can just reach into your fridge and grab. Or if you stock your pantry appropriately, reach for something non-perishable and grab. So, you know, were you meal prepping at that time, or food prepping, protein prep, whatever you want to call it? Were you packing lunch? Whatever else. What did you stop doing that you might benefit from start doing again in terms of getting that weight regain reversed? On the flip side of that, what did you start, what have you started doing that you need to stop doing? Maybe at some point along your weight loss journey or your weight maintenance path, you started dabbling in either some higher carb foods, or you started dabbling in the keto breads, the keto cookies, keto ice cream, keto granola, keto cereal, all of these things that you find in the store these days, you know, wraps, tortillas, zero net carbs. Really? Really, food manufacturers? I have a bone to pick with you, but anyway, you know, eating all these zero net carb products or low carb keto products, maybe you started doing that, and maybe you would benefit from stopping doing that, right? So there may be some behaviors, or maybe, I don't know what, maybe you've just become a little bit complacent. Maybe when you were in the process of losing weight, you could indulge or have a meal off plan once a month, and you could do that and still consistently lose weight. And maybe now that indulgence, that off plan meal has become once a week or twice a week or whatever it is. So there may be some things that you stopped doing when you regained and you need to start doing them again, or there may be some things that you started doing that you need to stop doing. So, you know, don't make this more complicated than it needs to be. What changed? What was different at that inflection point when either you were losing, or then started gaining, or, you know, lost a bunch, were very happily maintaining, you know, good where you are, and then started gaining? What happened? What do you need to start doing or stop doing to get you back on the path to a weight that you were happier with? So those are helpful. The other issue is, I mentioned earlier that my dear friend Casey Durango and I, and her website I believe is CaseyDurango.com. There'll be a link below. CASEY, CaseyDurango.com. For some of you, maybe the only reason you started to regain was because you just didn't have that support element. And some of you, like I said in videos in the past, some of you don't need the cheerleading. You don't need that pat on the back. You don't need that, you know, attaboy, attagirl. You just get the food list and you do it, and you're great. You don't need that sort of emotional support. You don't need that encouragement, the kind word, or the, you know, virtual slap upside the face. You're good to go on your own. But maybe one of the factors, or the major factor in your regain was that you do need that support and you don't have it, or you didn't have it at the time you started to regain. So please do consider joining that support group with me and Casey, or if it's a monthly thing, it's going to be once a month online. I also have Patreon. Those of you that are familiar with Patreon, patreon.com/2itnutrition, there's a link below. Again, if you need a safe, supportive, encouraging community to troubleshoot issues with, to get encouragement, or to get that mix of encouragement and gentle, you're doing great, keep going, or the tough love, like a nice balance of that, whatever's going to work best for you. For so many people, support is that missing piece. You know what to eat. You know what not to eat. It's not like you go to the supermarket, like, I don't know what to buy. Do Frosted Flakes fit on a keto diet? Can I have these bagels? Can I have this thing of sweet Hawaiian dinner rolls? Like, none of you is really puzzled by that anymore. You know what to do if it's been hard to do, or it was easy to do, or maybe it wasn't easy, but you were able to white knuckle it and you could just shoehorn yourself into it and get the weight off. But then when you didn't have that support, that encouraging community, that weight just started to come right back on. So whether you join the support group with me and Casey, or whether you subscribe to my Patreon, or you find a local support group or some other online system, that is potentially one of the issues that may have been getting in the way for you. Now, the pièce de résistance, as they say. I'm sorry, I majored in Spanish. I'm not a French speaker. When I was in college, I did a double major in creative writing and Spanish. So I actually speak Spanish. And but the creative writing piece is where a lot of you know my writing. I've written some books. I do a lot of freelance writing. So my master's degree is in nutrition. Anyway, the pièce de résistance, as they say in the French, is some of the stuff that I'm going to share for you that I wrote for this private group. If you are currently in a regain, whether you lost a bunch of weight on keto, low-carb, carnivore in the past, and you've now regained a bunch, and you've regained and you've kind of plateaued at your new higher weight, or you are currently in the process of gaining, like every time you step on the scale, it's higher and higher, hopefully some of what I will say now will resonate with you and will help you. So, do not let a regain go to waste. This is a gold mine of information for you. A gold mine. Instead of, like I said in part 1 of this weight regain video, instead of beating yourself up and feeling ashamed and regretting whatever led to this regain, mine it for information that you can use to get back on track, and to prevent regain from happening again in the future. For example, what led to this regain? What happened? Was there some type of really, really stressful event in your life? Did you just become complacent? What happened? I mean, most of the time, the weight doesn't come back on mysteriously, like it just magically appeared. I regained 20, 30, 50, 80 pounds. We kind of know what's happening. So what is it that led to the regain? And the reason we need to ask this question is so that we can make a plan for it in the future. If when something stressful happens or unexpected things happen in my life, life throws me a curveball, as it's always going to, by the way, how can I be better prepared for it next time so that it doesn't derail me again? Right? This is a gold mine of information. What happened and why? And how can I navigate that better next time? That's why we want to answer these questions for ourselves. So what is your plan? Maybe it was nothing more complicated than I did really, really well for 6 months, 8 months, almost the whole year. Then it was Thanksgiving and it was Christmas or Hanukkah or Kwanzaa, or then it was New Year's, then it was, Halloween, whatever, all these holidays, these food-centric holidays. But what holiday isn't food-centric, at least in the US? Hello. How can I plan better for next Thanksgiving, next Christmas, next Hanukkah, next Kwanzaa, next Halloween, next whatever? These things come around every year. It's not like we don't know they're coming. They loom large on the calendar, right? So if you had a hard time staying on plan through the holidays, or staying keto, staying low carb, put together a strategy ahead of time so that next year the same thing doesn't happen. Don't undo all that progress. You can go in with a plan. If you need a plan, book a consultation. There's a link below in every video that I do. I am available to talk to privately. Like, take advantage of that. I'm a real person. I do consultations. There's a lot of people on the internet, keto influencers, they'll never give you the time of day. I write back personally to every email I get. I don't have a staff. I don't have an assistant. It's me. Now I'm probably going to get like 500 emails. But anyway, let's see what else I meant here. Yeah. What happened when the regain started at that inflection point? What happened, and what are you going to do differently the next time those same circumstances present themselves? That's all you really need to do, is think ahead. How and why did this derail me? And what kind of strategy can I put in place ahead of time so that it doesn't happen again? And don't let a weight regain go to waste. Let it equip you with knowledge and tools to move forward in a better way. And I think it was Winston Churchill or somebody said, like, never let a crisis go to waste. Don't quote me that it was Churchill. Somebody famous said something like, never let a good crisis go to waste. We can learn something every time. Now, the thing that I really want to leave you with is, if you are dealing with a regain, first of all, I've regained from time to time. I've been doing videos, I think, for a few years now. If I'm doing the math right, 7 years. That's hard to believe, but I think my first videos were maybe 2017-ish, so that's going on 7 years, give or take. If you look at the thumbnails of some of my videos where my face is showing, or you bring up just some of the videos from over the years, you will see my face and my body doing this. I'm big and puffy. I'm not big and puffy. Like, I've fluctuated a little bit, and I'm only 5'2". I'm very short. So a regain or a loss of only a few pounds makes a big difference in how I appear. So anyway, I know what you're going through. Like, my own weight is up and down, and even if my weight is not up 20, 30, 50 pounds, 100 pounds like some of yours might be, if you've regained a really significant amount, I'm in the public eye. I'm here in front of the camera. Everyone can see me. I go to conferences. I get on stage. If I'm a little heavier, a little smaller, I can't hide. Everybody sees me. So I just want to state that for the record. So I know what it's like to regain. I know what it's like to be on an upward trend. I know what it's like to be on a downward trend. That's part of the process. You know, I think it's really unusual for somebody's weight to be like exactly the same from week to week over the course of many, many weeks, many, many months. You know, if that is you, great. I just think it's pretty rare. Other important thing to know is that I never want you to feel defeated or like you are starting over or back at square one or starting from scratch, because You never are. That is maybe the best news of all. If you have regained some or even all of your weight, you are never starting from scratch. You're never starting back at square one, or whatever other similar phrases there might exist in languages other than English if you are watching this from a country where English is not your native language. And if you are, hello, international fans, I love you. So the reason that you are never ever starting from scratch or starting back at the beginning is because you are restarting keto or low carb with so much more knowledge and experience than you had the first time around. You've already done this. You lost the weight once. You know how it works. So you are not a beginner anymore. You are starting from a much more knowledgeable position. You have so much more experience with what works and what doesn't, right? And I think I did mention this last time, like, you know what derailed you. So you know the kinds of habits you need and that you need to maintain consistently. And you know what doesn't work. So it's kind of like, I don't know, let's say if you've never ever been to a gym before and you walk in and you're looking at all these machines and you're very intimidated, like, I have no idea what this is. I don't even know what body part that works. I don't know how to even sit properly in that machine. But if you've been a long time gym goer, let's say you move from state to state, province to province, whatever. You can walk into any gym and you recognize the equipment. Just because it's a new gym, you already know how to use the leg press. You don't need some trainer to teach you how to use the leg press or to teach you how to do a bicep curl. You've been doing it for years. You're just in a different location. So just like you starting low carb again, you're not a beginner. You know the ropes. You know what to do. You just have to get back to it. You're not a stranger in a strange land type of situation. And for all the ladies out there, I will confess, that's how I feel when I go into a place like Sephora or Ulta, the makeup stores. I go in there and I'm like, I was absent the day they taught makeup in high school. I don't know even what 90% of this is for. It's red or it's blue. Does this go on my eyes, my lips, my cheeks, my face, my nails? I don't even know what this thing is. Help me, somebody. So I feel very deer in headlights when I walk into one of those makeup stores. And so I tend to gravitate toward the same things. Oh, that's clearly a lipstick. That's a lip gloss. I think that's an eyeshadow. But anyway, if any of you have a recommendation for a makeup tutorial YouTube channel for like real women in the real world. I'm not trying to spend $900 on makeup. I'm not trying to look like I'm on a movie set. I just want to look like a normal, decent looking woman who understands how to put makeup on. Because like I said, I was absent that day they taught it in school. So let's see. Yeah, let me leave you with this. Because you are not starting back at square one, because you already have a pretty good sense of what works and what doesn't, then rather than feeling defeated and discouraged, I can't believe I have to get this weight off again, I can't believe I'm back here again, this is a reason to feel empowered. Like, oh, I got this. I know how to do this. I just needed a little nudge to get back to normal. I just needed a little bit of push to get back on track. Feel empowered. You have so much more knowledge than you did the first time around. So much more experience than you did the first time around. Now, that being said, the last thing I will leave you with is you have a lot more stuff buzzing around in your brain about keto. That doesn't mean it's knowledge. It's confusion, it's terror, it's overwhelm, it's fear. If you don't know what I'm talking about, watch the video I did recently called Keto Without the Crazy, like the whole theme of my channel. you might think you know more than you do because you're listening to 47 different influencers. But if what they said was helpful, why have you regained? You might have been following advice that wasn't intended for your specific situation. If there's somebody out there telling you that if you do the carnivore diet, you can eat as much meat as you want and as much fat as you want, and it's not possible to gain weight, it's not possible to run into problems, I've got news for you. I've had people contact me because they did run into problems and they did gain weight. That's only just one example. So when I say you have so much more knowledge, what you have is a lot more people telling you different things, some of which agrees, some of which is not. This doctor said I should eat a lot of this thing, but this other doctor said that thing is poison. So what you have is more overwhelm and more paralysis by analysis and more uncertainty and terror. And if there's one thing that I love to do, it is help people feel a little bit more calm about all this. That's kind of where Keto Without the Crazy comes from. So if you are dealing with a regain, you're not alone. This is ultra common, but don't make it harder than it needs to be to get out of it. Get back to basics, get back to what works, get back to what worked for you the first time to get the weight off. Drown out the insanity, drown out the conflicting stuff that you're trying to do and it isn't working for you anyway. So why bother? And just do what you kind of already know you need to do. Especially subscribe to this channel if you're not already. I have a merch store. If you love the Keto Without the Crazy message, check out the merch store link below. Reminder, the virtual support group with Casey Durango and myself will be meeting next time, August 13th. Register with the link below. And again, if you've made it all the way this far through this video, but you didn't watch part 1 of weight regain on keto, go watch part 1. There's a link. Thank you so much. I will see you next time. Take care. Oh, and I almost forgot. Until next time, keep the crazy out of your keto.